The United Arab Emirates reforms Islamic laws and broadens personal freedoms. In Dubai, specifically, of the UAE. Recently, the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, announced a significant overhaul of the nation's Islamic personal laws. The reforms now allow unmarried couples to cohabitate, loosen alcohol restrictions, and criminalize so-called honor killings. The expansion of personal freedoms reflects the changing profile of a country that has sought to market itself as a Westernized destination for tourists, despite its Islamic legal code. The changes include scrapping penalties for alcohol consumption, sales, and possession for those 21 and over. Attempted suicide will also be decriminalized. To better, quote, protect women's rights, the government said it would get rid of laws defending so-called honor crimes. The punishment for a crime committed with the intention of avenging a family's honor for women's promiscuity or disobeying religious and cultural customs will now be the same for any other kind of assault. The move follows a historic U.S. brokered deal to normalize relations between the UAE and Israel.
That's amazing. I think it's a combination of these deals. By the way, which is one of the few things I give Trump credit for, okay? Let's not deny that. That was impressive. As much as I'm against him in most of his policies, that was impressive. But it's also because they're running out of money, right? And tourism is becoming more and more significant to them. It's okay. We can still celebrate it. Again, I always say, even if it's the motivations are because they're trying to make more money, they're trying to become less... welcoming to investors and tourists and everyone else. People are like, oh, well, this is just because of that. Who cares? It's a move in the right direction. I celebrate it. I mean, I remember do you guys remember this Australian woman who was in Dubai and she was RAPE'd and she went and reported it and she went to jail because she couldn't produce 4 witnesses while admitting to adultery. And okay, so you can't produce 4 witnesses as is required per Islamic law. Plus, you admitted to adultery, so you go to jail. That's how crazy that was. And also, there's a lot of couples that get in trouble just because they're they're not foreigners who are not married and they having sex while they're on vacation in Dubai, get into trouble. What the hell is up with that? Join the civilized world, Dubai. Dubai's images looks like they're from the future, and their laws look like they're from the dark ages. 7th century. Right.
Well, specific to what you were talking about foreigners and violations of Sharia law, this is actually one of the amendments says that it'll allow foreigners, if something like that should happen or there's some issue, they get to avoid Sharia courts for marriage, divorce, inheritance. So hopefully it would also be for that. But they did leave out, they didn't say anything about things that have landed foreigners in the jail in the past, like, for example, homosexuality or public displays of affection. So it's not completely overarching in terms of 21st century, but they're baby stepping it there. So congratulations, Mazel Tov, Dubai.
Yes, I mean they still have extremely harsh apostasy laws, which I'm always going to call them out for. Part of this has to do with so in a country where expatriates outnumber citizens nearly 9-1, the amendments will permit foreigners to avoid Islamic Sharia courts on issues like marriage, divorce, and inheritance. Exactly to Rivka's point, the announcement said nothing of other behavior deemed insulting to local customs that has landed foreigners in jail in the past, acts such as homosexuality, cross-dressing, and public displays of affection. So a lot of this has to do, this article explicitly mentioned that the tourism that will be incoming from Israel soon. So a lot of this is, well, actually maybe not a lot, but this is likely being done to help promote tourism from Israel. And what's interesting is this new rule regarding alcohol. The new rule would allow Muslims who have been barred from obtaining licenses to drink alcohol beverages freely. So previously you would have to obtain a license to get alcohol. Muslims were barred from receiving such license. That is now removed.
Well, I think that, those kind of things actually are really important when you're talking about trying to do business, not just with Israelis, but any other countries, because a lot of that has to do with the schmoozing, and you're bringing people over. And people come from countries where they want to be able to drink, they're bringing their girlfriends, they're doing all these things, and business a lot of times makes peace, and how you can do that, it really does. And so it does make sense if you can, entertain your guests in a way that they're comfortable with, and thus willing to do business with you and have businesses in your country. And I think you're right that there is some of that going on.
Yeah.
And realizing that, if they're doing these other things, they need to do some of these relaxation of rules in order to get the populace on board, and all the other things that are going on, running out of money, it's going to be a problem. You got to kind of throw some coins to the peasants, so to speak. But there still have political parties, and labor unions are still illegal.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, this article noted how previously in Dubai, it was easy, officials were more likely to look the other way given the prominence of tourism in Dubai and the financial stakes in Dubai. But it was still really risky, and that was always looming over people's heads. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought, but we got a super chat from AGA.
Yep. Before we do the super chat, because it's not relevant to the news that we're doing, I just want to add my last comment. But I just want to say that this is not just, I know this is not enough. I know it's still they're so far behind. I do want to say that the reaction to this, both from the population and monetarily, is going to help normalize other places going forward with this as well, right? So these are the stuff that is happening with UAE and other countries. They're just playing around with this. And again, UAE and other countries, they're still doing a lot of other shady stuff, and we're going to keep calling them out for that. But if this stuff works, if it does actually bring them the money that they want, and if the people there, if the backlash against them is not as strong as they anticipated, other Islamic countries are going to take notice, right? And they're going to start playing with this as well to slowly, change, because money is powerful. Anyway, so yeah, you wanted to highlight AGA?
Well, I actually wanted to say something else. I think I saw someone in the chat saying something about honor killings being illegal. It's not even necessarily that honor killings specifically are now illegal. It is just that they are no longer getting a lighter sentence, lighter punishment than any other kind of assault. So they're now being treated at the same level as any other crime of physical assault, murder, etc.
And by the way, these are just for the locals are still. We care about the locals as well, right? So, and they are still getting a lot of harsh punishments and stuff like that. So
yeah, but these laws are not exclusive to foreigners.
No, but I'm saying is that a lot of places they're easing these laws on foreigners, but the locals are still living under the dark ages. Anyway, so you wanted to highlight the super chat?
Yes. So AGA gave us 10 Australian dollars. Thank you, AGA. Saying, I see your point regarding Bill 21. I needed to argue the devil's advocate position. Also, I didn't mean to generalize Arabs and Indians. There are a wide range of religious garbs in only 200 characters. Yes, I understand. Thank you, AGA.
Of course, we love you. We know you're not.
Yeah, but we also use
monolithing anybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though we know that's not what you mean, we usually use that opportunity to discuss that kind of issue anyways, to demonstrate to other people.
Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell thingy. If you haven't, I don't know why. What's holding you back? Okay? If you haven't subscribed to our channel, why haven't you subscribed to our channel? Explain that to us, please. Like, bell, and also if you're not getting notifications and stuff because YouTube is not telling people that we have shows, because YouTube is like, oh, this person told us that they want to get your shows, right? They want to get your videos, but nah, we think is no. And they also hit the bell button, but nah, you guys are too controversial. We want to show them mainstream stuff. We want to show them CNN or cat videos or whatever. But even there are people are like, no, we want to see Atheist Republic, and YouTube is like, no, we don't think you want this. We're like, no, please show it to us. We say to you, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we think we know what's better for you than you yourself. So, to solve that, there's a link in the description, which is to our newsletter. So hopefully we could email it to you. So hopefully you get some of our content that way, okay? So, yeah, subscribe to our newsletter as well. And share our videos, because we do get demonetized. That's an obvious on every one of our videos. So F that. But we don't care about that anymore. But we also get deprioritized, and that's even more damaging to us. Deprioritized, what does that mean? That means we don't show up on the suggested videos on the right and all that on people's homepages, and that's how channels grow. Unfortunately, we can't grow, so we need you guys to share our videos.